In today's tutorial, I will show you how to create retrospectives using Azure DevOps. Before going there, let me talk about Azure DevOps for the beginners. So this Azure DevOps is a tool that is provided by Microsoft, and this tool helps you to collaborate with your team members. You can create a personal account for free. Once you have created the account, so you have to go to this particular URL dev.azure.com and create your account. And once you have created this account, you can create projects. So to create projects, before creating projects, you have to create an organization. So first create an organization, and then within an organization, you can have a number of projects. So to create a project, you have to click on new project, and then give the project a name, description, and you can also say that what kind of process it needs to follow: agile, scrum, basic. You can also create your custom processes, like I have created here custom processes. So you can create those custom processes as well, and then click on create, and a project will be created. So once a project is created, within a project you can have epics, features, and all those things, like in a hierarchical manner. The topmost component is called as epic. So if I go here to my backlog, I can show you that here. You can see the hierarchy here. So on top you have the epic. One epic can have multiple features. So this is a feature, and then under one feature you can have multiple stories, like I have this. These are called as stories. And then within one story you can have multiple tasks or bugs. Now this is a bug here, right, in the red color, and these are the tasks. So you can have multiple bugs or tasks within a story. Now within Azure DevOps, you also have, so this is the Azure boards. You also have other services. For example, this Azure repos, you have pipelines, you have test plans, you have artifacts. So, and then you have also documentation. For that you have wiki. So boards are used to collaborate within team members. You manage your task requirements through these boards. And then you have repos to store your code there. So developers use this, check in their code, store this code within the repos. Then pipelines is used for continuous integration and deployment. So you can create build pipelines, you can create deployment pipelines, and you can deploy to different environments. Similarly, you have test plans to store all your test cases there, and you can then execute your test cases based on the sprint, and based on the stories, you can attach those to the test plans, and then you execute your test plans. Similarly, you have artifacts, which is used for your, to store any kind of artifacts like packages or NuGet packages, which can be then used by your pipelines. So like this, you have different services provided by Azure DevOps. Now, as you can see, you have only this many features available within the boards. So you don't have a retrospective here, right? So Azure DevOps allows you to install extensions. So you can add a lot of more features and services to this Azure DevOps tool by installing extensions. So to install extensions, you have to go to organization settings. So let's go to your organization, which is the root, and then here go to organization settings, and then go to extensions. Here you can see there is something called as browse marketplace. Click on that. Search for retrospective. Now this particular icon, click on that and get it free. Now it has detected my organization, Tutor Praveen, and then it is asking me to install it. So click on install. Now it has been installed. So proceed to organization. Now let's go to one of these projects and then click on boards, and you can see that retrospectives is coming up here. So let's click on this retrospectives. Now it is asking me to create a board, right? So before we do that, now retrospectives, why do we do this? What is retrospective? Basically, retrospective is to basically look back and see how you have performed as a team in a sprint. So usually sprints are 2 weeks, but sometimes you can also do 3-week sprint, or you can do 4-week sprint as well. So if it is a big team and there are a lot of things which needs to be delivered, then sometimes we also do 4-week sprints. Okay, but ideally a lot of people prefer 2 week sprints so that you can continuously drop things into your release environments and you can release something quickly, right? So that is where you have 2 week sprints. So this is a mechanism to collect feedbacks from everybody in the team, right? Whoever is involved in the delivery process, whether it is developer, tester, the scrum master, the business analyst, the product manager, people can actually provide feedback about the overall delivery. So to conduct retrospectives, you have to, as I said, you have to install the extension. Then you have to come here, click on this retrospectives, come back here, and here click on this create board. And here you can see there are a number of options provided. So you have to give a name to the retrospective. Let's say July 2024 sprint 1. Yep. And then maximum votes per user. So when you give feedback, so there is a voting mechanism where team members can then vote, give their votes. So whatever feedbacks has got the highest number of votes, you can then say that, okay, the top 3 feedbacks will work in the next sprint. Let's say, there is some feedback which needs some actions. So in that case, we can select those top 3 feedbacks or top 5 feedbacks and then work on those. Now remember that there could be like, let's say 30 feedbacks, right? You cannot work on all the 30 feedbacks and improve your team in the very next sprint. That is not realistic, right? So you have to work slowly and gradually or steadily. So so that's why voting mechanism is there, so that we only work on the feedbacks which really matter, right? Now here you can see there are some other settings like include team assessment. So always the answers can be stored like anonymously, or display retrospective prime directive, do not display names in feedback. So this kind of settings are there. You can select or unselect if you want these settings. Now the important part here is the template. So in this, by default, there are two things provided in the template. One is what went well, what didn't go well. Personally, I prefer to add one more, which is called as like a how can we improve, like so you can do that. So the third column could be how can we improve, how can we improve. So what went well means things which were good, right? Good things will be added here. I'll show you in a minute how to do that, or what kind of feedbacks can be part of this what went well. Similarly, what didn't go well, and then how can we improve. So let's save this. So now you can see 3 columns here. So what went well? So for example, great team collaboration, right, can be one of the feedbacks. So this feedback is for the last sprint, right? So when I'm saying great team collaboration, means in the last sprint, whatever work was done, the collaboration was very good. Somebody can say the testing quality was good, right? Testing quality was good. Now, similarly, some people can say that, okay, no clear requirements. So this is a feedback from the team member or one of the developers that the requirements were not clear. Priorities were changing frequently, let's say. So priorities were changing frequently. So these are the things which didn't go well. So these are some of the feedbacks. Similarly, how we can improve, right? So in that case, I can say that have a discussion at the beginning of the so that is how we can improve. Provide, let's say, vacation plan at the start of the sprint. Okay, this is like one of the feedbacks to improve, for example. So like this, you can provide number of feedbacks. So team members can provide their feedbacks. Everybody involved in the delivery can provide the feedbacks, and then you go through it. So at the end of the so what we do is that so give some time to the people in the team who are participating in this retrospective meeting. So share this link with them, share the screen using, let's say you are using MS Teams to collaborate, then use share the screen and ask everybody to provide their feedback, and then give them like 10 or 15 minutes to think and provide the feedback. So wait for those 10 or 15 minutes, mute the mic. Everybody should mute their mics, and then you can unshare the screen so that people can work on their own screens. And then once after 15 minutes, come back and share the screen again and go through each of these feedbacks. So for example, start from the left side and then say, okay, testing quality was good, then praise the people who have really done the good work, right? Similarly, great team collaboration. Okay, say thank you to everybody and say that it was great, and say a few words about that. So like this, go through these items one by one. Now, what didn't go well? Now remember that this is a team effort. It is not like blaming somebody or targeting somebody. It is a team effort and it is a constructive feedback, so people should take it in a positive way. So if priorities were changing frequently, then find out why it was changing. There could be a genuine reason behind it, and it could be only in the last sprint. Maybe it is not like something frequently happening in all the sprints. Maybe in last sprint, due to some reason, the priorities kept changing, which is sometimes things are out of control as well. So explain it, okay? Or if somebody wants to pitch in here, like a business analyst, they may come here and say that, okay, I can say why the priorities were changing. So let them talk about it. So have an open discussion and be genuine about it, be honest about it, and inform all the team members that this is the genuine reason why it changed. And we will try not to do it, and what steps we can take in order to avoid this, right? So that is what we need to discuss when we're discussing this kind of feedbacks. Similarly, if the requirements are not clear, then again discuss why it was not clear, what is the reason, and how we can avoid that in future. Now, how we can improve? Now, based on this, you can also you can add some more items. So suppose something came out of it like logical thing, then you can add a new feedback yourself and say that, okay, so next time let's talk to business and tell them that to clarify all these things before we start a sprint, right? Or else we will move it to the next sprint, not in the current sprint. If the requirements are not clear, then those stories we can move to the subsequent sprint. So business has to take that burden because the requirements are not clear. So obviously delivery has to be delayed, because there is no point in delivering something which is not clear. It will have bugs, and it will ultimately delay everything. So that is how you then go through this improvement things, all the improvement things, discuss within the team what is genuine, what we can do realistically, and then add all your feedbacks here. Most of the feedbacks how we can improve will be added during your before you start discussing this, right? Before you as I said, like there will be 15 minutes time you have to give to your team members to get all the feedbacks. So during that time, most of these things will be complete. But sometimes what happens during the discussion, you may come up with a brilliant idea that, okay, perhaps we can do this and that. So in that way we can improve it. So you can add that feedback. Okay. So once everything is added, you can group these things. So there is a tab here called as group. So there could be similar feedbacks, because remember that people are working, if they are in a meeting room, you have to hand over everybody will have a laptop or something and they'll be working on that. If they're working remotely, then they will be having their own screens, so they may not see what the other person has written. So sometimes the feedbacks are match each other, or they're similar feedbacks. So what you can do with the similar feedbacks, you can group. So basically you can drag and drop it, right? So as I showed you here, so I dragged and just dropped it, and it became one group. Okay, so two items became one group. So like this you can group items. So when you group items, people can just click and see what are the feedbacks given, similar feedbacks. All right, so you can group these things, these cards. So that is grouping. And then once all these things are discussed, you are happy, then in the last 5 minutes you give another 5 minutes to the team members and ask them to vote. In the beginning you have seen that there were 5 votes for each person in the team. So people can use those 5 votes to vote for any of the 5 items here. Now since like in a typical team, you will have 5 to 7 members, right? So there could be like 20 or 30 feedbacks. So out of those 30 feedbacks, let's say you are giving 5 votes to each of these team members to vote for these feedbacks, right? So for example, I am giving my vote to this. So you can see your number 1 here, and then I am giving my vote to this. So this also you can give. So you can also give your vote to what went well, right? So that people are encouraged that okay, this things got the highest vote, people are liking this, let's do it again in the next sprint, right? So now people can give their votes to this. Now you can also give your vote multiple time to one item as well, right? So there is no restriction on that. Similarly, so once you have provided your votes, let's give 2 votes to this. So as I have given a 5 votes now, 4 and 1, 5 votes, right? So if I go to act, so I can see that the votes, the feedbacks which have got the highest number of votes automatically appear on top. Yeah, so these are the feedbacks which have got the highest number of votes. So based on that, then you can create work items. Like here, if I click on add work item, I can create a work item, a user story or a task or something, right? I can create a work item and add it to my sprints. So let's say no clear requirements, right? So next time, so what I can do is I can create a work item and assign my business analyst to that work item, because business analyst is responsible for the requirements. So business analyst has to talk to the business team and then get the requirements from them and then create the stories on the board. So I can assign this to the business analyst so that he can ensure that all the requirements are clear, right? So like this, if there are some actionable items, you can create a work item against those and then assign it to a person and then add it to your sprint. So that's all. And once you have done this, so you take some, if there are any other things which the team members want to share, you can talk to them, discuss with them, and then close the meeting. So that's how you do a retrospective using Azure DevOps. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And yes, do not forget to like, comment, and share this video. Thanks a lot for watching.